What's up, people? Hello and welcome back. Hold on 1 second. What's up, people? Hello, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. It's been a wonderful weekend for some in the Premier League, and as you might guess, I'm pretty excited about it. Arsenal back in the title race. Title race is for sure on. 3-1 winners over Liverpool. Incredible result. Man City, the same 3-1 winners over Brentford. It's looking tight up there at the top. Unfortunately for the Blues, it's not looking tight at all. But yeah, we'll definitely get to that. Right off the rip, let's go ahead and get the likes up on the video. At least 3 likes for the 3 goals, for the 3 Arsenal goals. You know I'm pumped about it. We're on our way to 200 subscribers, so go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Of course, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. And if you're enjoying all the content, get the notification bell on. We got plenty more coming for you. All right, only place to start. Of course, the Arsenal have absolutely decimated Liverpool. 3-1, I think, is flattering. That's why I continue to say we've destroyed them or decimated them, whatever your verb is. Yeah, that first half was incredible. I think that I have to start out by saying I'm here to hold my hands up when I'm wrong, when I've been incredibly critical of a certain number 29, been incredibly critical of our favorite human turnstile, and I've been very critical of Mikel Arteta at times as well. But in this game, and I've just rewatched it because as Xavier likes to bring party favors, I was on cloud 9 for the first time I watched it, and it was amazing. And I'm still on cloud 9 a bit from it, of course. But I rewatched it back just to kind of have a better tactical eye on it. And yeah, that first half, we completely shut them down. Robbie Earl mentioned it in the halftime show about the box midfield that Arsenal were creating. And essentially, the idea was to always encircle or box McAllister in. So whenever they would pass the ball into McAllister, inside our 4 players, Havertz, Odegaard, Jorginho, and Rice, somebody stepped. Somebody got to him really, really fast. And so Liverpool were never able to move the ball up the field through McAllister. Gravenberch was a ghost in the first half because he is the second line. He's behind Jorginho and Rice. And they never got the ball past that.
Just can't feed him.
They never got it to him because they never got past Jorginho and Rice. Now, Jorginho deserves a ton of credit for this performance. Yes, I've been very critical, and I love it, or perhaps do not love it, when he puts his head down and runs because he knows he's beat or whatever. But we only saw that a couple of times in this game because, like we were talking about X during the game, his positional sense, he just knew where to be. And the tactical tweak that Arteta did for this game with the double 6 with Jorginho and Declan Rice playing deeper as part of the second line of that box, they were fantastic. They're absolutely fantastic. And I think it also benefited Kai Havertz immensely. So when it was a goal kick and we were pressing high, you didn't see it so much. But when they advanced the ball a little bit up the field, the fact that Jorginho and Rice were deeper and Odegaard obviously is that right-sided 8. That's where he likes to kind of stay in that right channel. It left some space in the left channel. And Kai Havertz is used to playing there this season in that left-sided 8 role. He's used to being in that space. And so the hybrid tactic or formation, whichever one, both, I suppose, allowed for Havertz to also be comfortable because I feel like he always looks more confident when he's playing farthest forward, when he's playing up top, the number 9 position. But also, he knew where to be in that space when we didn't have the ball because he's been doing that all season long. So credit goes to Arteta for devising this tactic, this plan to absolutely suffocate the midfield. Now, a couple of times, Jota came through into that box, but Gabriel was right on him.
Mm-hmm.
And when Curtis Jones came back, they sorted it out. Martin was able to sort it out. They were able to get in front of him. They were always had somebody on McAllister when Curtis Jones came in, when they were trying to make their numbers up. So Arteta got the tactics just absolutely spot on. It allowed for Kai Havertz to have one of his best performances. Now, obviously, his finishing is awful still, and his final ball needs some work. But everything else, I thought he did fantastically. He got back on defense a few times.
It's funny. Like, everyone wants to play Kai very offensively. I don't understand why no one. I mean, other than the German national squad, maybe. Like, just play him as a center defensive mid. Like, I know he doesn't
not in my team.
I know he doesn't have the work rate for it, but that's what he has the skill set for.
Not in this team, though.
Defending midfielder.
You're never getting it. Not in this team. Not with Declan Rice and Jorginho and Partey.
He gives a pass away. God forbid he's in the box, or God forbid he has to give a second, or like God forbid he has to actually.
I mean, he did track all the way back and get a clearance from right back at one point because he followed a man from the. He followed Harvey Elliott, or no, it was the other side. So it was Curtis Jones followed him all the way into the box and ended up being on the header for the clearance. But I think again, it goes back to, and I also heard at times our formation looked. This was James from AFTV. He was talking about how at times our formation looked like a classic 4-4-2 because Zinchenko wasn't doing a lot of inverting.
No,
he was keeping an eye on Trent. He was keeping an eye on Jota, on Gakpo when he drifted out there. And so he didn't do a lot of inverting like he normally does because Jorginho was in that space. And so I think that, I'll be curious to see if we do this again against West Ham because it'll be a different game. They're way more sit and counter, but they can also be open at home a little bit. So I'm curious to see if he'll do that because I don't think we want to sacrifice the creativity. Although Jorginho was playing some fantastic passes. Some absolutely fantastic passes. He had a monster game, for sure. Definitely his best game in an Arsenal shirt. But I don't think against low blocks we want to sacrifice the creativity. So I think he'll revert back to Rice in the 6 and maybe ESR or Havertz, depending on, probably Havertz first West Ham just for size. But again, I think that the double 6 got the best out of Havertz. It's what Arteta has put his faith in, and we saw a little bit of it. But that being said, our most effective route was Gabriel around the corner. Gabriel's long ball to Martinelli round the corner at least 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
One time.
Played it to Trossard the same way. Gets the hold up.
No, Trossard just wrecked Harvey Elliott's world and did it all by himself. Just does him at the halfway line and runs all the way in and nutmegs Allison, who had his was one of the Arsenal MVPs, you might say. But the one ball from Gabriel just completely bamboozled Van Dijk, Van Disney, and Allison.
Yeah,
that was all. That was just a long ball from Gabriel.
Yeah. This the gift
bounced, and I they can't explain it, so I don't know how I'm gonna explain to you what happened on that one.
Trusted his keeper to get it, man, and he just didn't.
What I saw was like Van Dijk read the ball, and then he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna just shield the man."
Right, he committed fully to the man, thinking
he didn't even pay attention to the ball, but the ball, when it bounced, it literally went to the path where he was going. So then he ran Allison off. He bumped him just enough to push him off the ball. That was on Van Dijk. Van Dijk should have read where the ball was.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. You know, I don't know if Van Dijk can explain it. It was a moment of madness for sure. Real mix up. I mean, you saw in the replay they didn't even exchange words. They didn't even say anything. They're just like,
oh,
we blew that one.
It was bad because if Van Dijk fouled him, he wasn't looking at the ball. So I mean, he was done. So it was poor.
Van Dijk was in front of him. But Martinelli put his arm into Van.
So he didn't know. So any foul Van Dijk had, he was done. I mean, he wasn't even tracking the ball.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, it didn't make any. It was dumb.
Yeah, he was.
If he misses him, he fouls him, and it's a red card.
But he shielded him off. He shielded him off of this first touch. Like Van Dijk's clearly gotten the body. Like he doesn't want Martinelli to run through him, so he's trying to shield him off. And like the way Allison comes in, Van Dijk doesn't look at him. He just knows.
But see,
he knows Allison. He knows Allison knows I've committed to the man. He can see me. He fully committed to Martinelli. He's fully committed. This is my sole purpose now. I don't care where the ball is. That's your job.
But that's the reason that happened, because he didn't know where the ball was.
I mean, and Becker should have. I don't know. I feel like
Allison should have directed him when Van Dijk.
I feel like he should have done. Yes,
Allison should have told him what to do.
Absolutely,
because he didn't pay attention to the ball anymore. Because Allison can see the bounce.
Yep.
He should have told him to stop. He should have said. He should have just said, "Stop, leave it."
Stops, he can go get the ball.
Yeah, and
Martinelli just bounces off of Van Dijk, because if Van Dijk plants. If Van Dijk plants, Martinelli is not going to be able to nudge him like that. He's just going to bounce off.
Right. But that's why I said him not looking at the ball. If the slightest anything comes out, it's a foul on him.
It's funny because it's a mirror goal, because the communication between center back and goalie caused both goals. It's a mirror goal. They gave it right back to you guys.
Yeah, it was the same.
It was a different look. It's a different look, but it is the exact same scenario between players.
You're 100% right.
It's the same goal. Yeah.
Pool managed one shot on goal, and Arsenal scored all the goals.
Yeah. The game wasn't close, man.
No, absolutely not. We had 18 or so shots to their 8. I think we had 6 or 7 on goal. They had 1. And that was a shot from outside the box that was right at Raya.
But from the beginning, Arsenal looked so much more comfortable in the game. They just looked comfortable.
They came out rocking.
And somebody said this. Did you guys send this in the chat? Because remember, the narrative was Klopp telling the team this would either energize them or make them nervous. I think one of you guys said it where I saw, I'm like, I don't know if they need it. It's extra pressure, because now you're adding the pressure of, Arsenal's competing for the league. Villa is better. And the blue team in Manchester is always on their way coming. So why would you add that right now? I would have personally done the announcement at the end of the season, but
Yeah, I mean, it feels on the surface right now like it was a calculated gamble. Like this might galvanize them. Yes, there's risk involved, but it might give them an extra oomph. It's weird. It's a weird one for me, because I agree. I don't think randomly in the middle of the season,
missing your best player, again coming up against a title rival, none of it made sense.
Yeah,
which means the only thing that makes sense to me is he was going to quit then. I think he was just going to leave at that moment, and I think that's where he's like, "Hey, stay to the end of the season." That's the only thing that makes sense, because otherwise it doesn't make sense.
I haven't thought about that, but yeah. I can definitely see it. See it.
I read something that said that his wife had to convince him to coach this season.
From last year, yeah.
Or last year?
No, you're right. He wanted to quit mid-season last year, and she convinced him to finish.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe he I'm sure it's calculated. I don't think Klopp does anything just out of, whimsical decision. I think it's calculated. But I think, it was to galvanize, because we're in front. Let me give a little bit extra juice to it, right? Like, okay, guys, this is it for me. So let's go out on top, kind of thing. Win for the Gipper, if you know.
I would add something too. Now that you said that, I think Arsenal's form last year and their push and how significant it was and how young Arsenal is and the direction Arsenal's going really scared them to the fact that I feel like the way Arsenal were kind of teetering right now and where you still were close enough, I think this was kind of, if I'm using big picture and I'm conspiracy theorying, right? It was actually they did this to galvanize them to push Liverpool past Arsenal. Because I think even though you guys think about it, Jake, you guys haven't played very well, but look, you're still where you are and you haven't played well. And so if Liverpool is looking at that and the difference is now 2 points, that there are there's 15 games left, right?
15 games left. Yep.
15 games left. And I mean, that means Liverpool has to make sure they don't drop any more points.
They can't drop anything because they're already behind you. Your game in hand is versus the team you just wrecked today at the Empty Head.
Yes, at home.
And technically you play first next weekend.
Yeah.
So by the time Liverpool play again, you could already be ahead.
And they have to win. And the thing is that now that they've lost to Arsenal, they're watching your games now. And so you're looking at this season and you're like, man, well, because if they don't get it this year, it's going to be a while, man.
It's going to be a while.
It's going to be a while, man.
Well, not for, there might be merit to what you're saying, at least as far as where Klopp's concerned, because in the last 5 matches, Arteta versus Klopp, we've been the better team in every game.
Yeah, man.
Every game. That's 2 seasons. That's 2 seasons in a row we have taken 4 points from Liverpool.
And Salah's had to save them every time, and he wasn't there this time. That was the only glimmer of hope they had. Because remember, I think the guy you were talking about, where he's like, he said Jota likes to play against Arsenal. I'm like, I haven't seen results to equal that at all. I mean, okay, he can score a goal, but scoring goals and winning is not the same thing.
Right.
Well, I want to know why Klopp didn't go with Nunez up top.
Injured.
He was on the bench.
He played.
He got stepped on in the Chelsea match, and they said his foot was bruised.
Oh.
He played 30 minutes, though.
So that's why he didn't play the full 90. I've also heard that Trent came off because the doctors said he couldn't play more than an hour.
Yeah, because he came off right at an hour, too.
And I heard that Robbo couldn't play more than half an hour. So that was all doctor stuff. Like Robertson came on for Trent, or at the same time as Nunez.
Right. Looking at it backwards, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All of his at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got nothing against Gakpo, but I think
anonymous
would have been a better matchup for Pool against your center backs, which I mean, there's really no good matchup against your center backs except for Holland.
Well, he came in and
Darwin
came in and threw his weight around.
He tried to.
So I mean, I think that in itself is interesting that the Klopp didn't, try to start him and try to get 55 minutes out of him.
Yeah,
make a statement early on, then you bring on Gakpo to run and stretch the defense. But I'll be honest.
Would it have mattered? We shut them down in that first half.
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't. It really wouldn't have mattered. This is nothing. They like Arsenal will head and shoulders a better team in the first half. Like that own goal was insane. I'm like, dude,
It's out of nothing too.
I was like, what is this, man?
I was fuming. You can ask X. I was pissed.
It's not pretty.
Because that was like that was completely non-indicative of what we saw. Like there was nothing. It was lucky to be what it was at the half.
I was so sick thinking, man, we're not about to do this. We're not about to. Not today. This ain't. We're not. I was so sick at halftime, man. And they came out, man. That first 10 minutes was probably their best 10 minutes of the game. And a lot of the second half was even until the goal, until the debacle.
Yeah.
Anything on the Konate double yellow? I think it's pretty clear and obvious on the first one he tosses Havertz down. That's a straight up. You can't argue with that.
Yeah.
And the second one, it's soft, but that's all day in this league.
But it was dumb. Yeah, it was dumb.
That's all day long in this league. That.
Yeah.
You can get upset at there's hardly any contact. Yeah, well, I mean, that's getting called
yellow
all day long.
Sitting on a yellow, you don't make
that's a yellow, even if you don't have it. That's that's a by the book. That's
I mean, he stopped the play up.
Yellow.
Yes, Kai goes down and rolls Neymar status 14 times and makes a huge meal of it, but duh, that happens. That's the game today. Everyone's gonna do that. Diaz or Jota, whoever is gonna do that. Roles reversed. You just got to be smarter, And I mean, I don't think it necessarily affected the game that much, but Konate had a rough day, man.
I have no sympathy after Tuesday, so
Well, but this is where my point is just leading, because when I mentioned the Klopp thing, Van Dijk is clearly on the sort of the sundown period of his career, and the other stars in Liverpool are basically sunsetting. So, I mean, this next generation of guys, I mean, they're not terrible, but I mean, is Klopp going to win anything with them compared to what Villa's put together? And I mean, I know you guys will throw up when I say this, what Spurs have put together. I mean, but I mean, we can joke about them.
It's been 7 months, man. It's been 7 months. Let's not get too excited.
But I'm talking about the youth of the team and the way the manager works at Spurs. Spurs, if you're comparing them, I would take Spurs for the next 2 seasons compared to what Liverpool looks like they'll be in the next 2 seasons.
Okay, I hear you.
Based on that, and so if I'm Liverpool, I'm looking. Arsenal's maybe past us. Villa for sure is probably past them. They just have to find consistency. City because Pep said he ain't going anywhere. So that's City, right? So now you got Spurs sitting here. United won't go away, and they're garbage, but they won't go away.
I mean, Brighton 3 wins on the bounce. They're doing it. They're somehow doing it.
Right. If Brighton could find any consistency anywhere, they're on par. And then Newcastle should also, if they could find any consistency, and be on par. And Chelsea's not going to stay where they are forever. I'm saying that as a statement of fact, though. That'll be later. You stop looking at me like that. They're not going to stay that way. I promise you.
A man can hope. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Too soon. Sorry.
Listen.
What?
Listen.
Look.
We'll get there.
I will be the optimistic one for Chelsea, dang it.
There's no optimism. There's no optimism over there. It's not great. It's not great. But yeah, I'm absolutely pumped. I've been pumped all day long. I've been pumped ever since we scored the third goal, to be honest with you. Been super jacked. Trossard comes on, does Trossard things immediately, like AX, you called it in the preview, the men are tired, man. They're smoked. And then Trossard comes on and bamboozles the whole defense.
Dude, that flick, that's so cheeky. I love that winger. That dink and dot, just that 1-2, that one move that gets you the space, just spins him out of his shorts.
And then Trossard, he's not the quickest guy.
But no one went with him.
That's what was crazy. I was like, you were with me because I was so mad. I was like,
so mad.
Who ran? No one's there. No one's there.
Well, Leon Trossard. Leon Trossard knows exactly how I feel every time I play the game. It's just, why am I the only one up here? Why?
It's like, Odegaard, you made a run? Great. You're on the 18. You're at the top of the box. What are you doing?
I've been here for 3 minutes, bro.
Oh, it was fantastic. But speaking of Odegaard,
it was a great finish.
Fantastic.
So clean. Just hit it even. Make sure.
Oh yeah.
Make
right
him make the
through his legs. It was great.
Make the stop. Yep.
Just a cherry right on top of the Allison pie that we were having. But I thought Martin Odegaard was fantastic. And
Started slow.
yeah, maybe, but his press, the way he organized the press is just, I know that's like, oh, he's supposed to be the creator. He's supposed to do this, he's supposed to do that. Well, he did. He made some fantastic passes. The lob into Kivior, who is clearly not Didier Drogba.
I don't care
clearly.
who you are. I don't care who you are. You chest that and
Just volley it. Why does he bend down? Why does he bend down so? Well, because he's a center back. That's why.
Right.
He's a center back by trade. That's why he
off the chest to settle it just a bit, and you put everything God has given you in your right leg.
Bro, he's a center back. He's a center back turned left back.
It either goes in the net or it goes to parking lot.
Are you telling me Bob Leake would have taken that down and scored, or would he have ripped it into the parking lot, or if he have bent down and done something crazy?
Probably would have bent down and done something
It's
crazy.
a center back. Kivior, yeah, man.
I know.
I was like, oh my God, you should have scored, but that was it, because I was like, okay, it's.
As soon as we figured out who
Okay.
it was, we were
Yeah.
like, yeah, the tracks.
But Odegaard's importance to our press, the organization. There was only 3 times in the whole first half that McAllister had the ball in any kind of space, and they were dangerous.
Oh yeah.
Poole got two of their shots came off of those. McAllister not having McAllister having a little bit of time. He advanced the ball and they got a shot off.
And hitting the line.
Yeah, but other than that, man, it was locked down. It was fantastic. And yeah, I couldn't be happier. It's a very, very tough game. We got some revenge on the mind going to the Bubbles Stadium on, I think that's Sunday, maybe. I think it's another Sunday game. But yeah, what happened to my pen? Here it is. On the other side of the title charge, Man City flexing muscles, doing what they do. Philly Foden with an absolute masterclass. I might say that it's KDB who should get the flowers again, should get the plaudits. But of course, Foden was on the end of it, so he's going to get the goals. But just Brentford, don't give the ginger space.
Period.
What are you doing? You marked him for most of the game. The literal first time he has time, he puts in a ball that you guys don't deal with, and Foden's like, thank you very much.
That's all I wanted.
I was so frustrated. After Tony manhandles Diaz, or was it Ake?
It was Ake.
And Neil Maupay, of all people,
That was
on
a
a
great
tear,
play.
on an absolute. Maupay must have just been waiting to come back to Brentford, because he's been showing up for. He didn't show up for anyone else. So much so that I did not rate him ever. He's come to Brentford and
Right?
he was at Brighton before that.
Yeah.
He started at Brentford actually, and then he moved somewhere. And when they were in the Championship, he moved away, and then he was at Brighton, and then he was at Everton. Did nothing for either. And well, I mean, Brighton fans might challenge me on that. I'm not so sure, but I never rated him. He's got 3 and 3, 4 and 4 for Brentford. But other than that, domination.
I felt, yeah. They always,
Complete and domination. It's gross. It's really gross. Wouldn't you agree, Lewis? It's just disgusting.
City
What?
does, yeah. Well,
Go ahead, X.
City does this to teams, man, and they'll do it to the teams they want to do it to. That's
Whoever.
the problem.
Doesn't matter.
That's the problem. No. And they're not gonna give y'all guys a goal and be like, "Oh yeah, no, y'all think y'all have this game. Y'all eat these dreams. We feed off taking these dreams away from people."
They give a little bit of hope.
And then they
It's like they're yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and then they see it and then they just crush it.
Like, oh, that tastes so good.
It's so good. Oh, live off that. That's how we win the league. Like,
Gross, man. It's so gross.
What's funny about that is that I think there were 2 plays before that where there was an offsides, and it's that super delayed call offsides that happened before that they had to play all the way through. And I mean, obviously, City has suffered 2 injuries from that sort of. And I understand that's the protocol, so I'm not going to knock like the linesman for that. But that's in this one. And again, I give Tony tons of credit. Tony played it right. He locked Ake up. Now, I mean, I wouldn't call it anything other than that. And so Ake couldn't play the ball because of how Tony had him, which made the ball go over his head. And I mean, I think the sort of the post-match analysis was it looks like that was sort of a set play, which is fine. That's what you do in a set piece, right? And he was there. It was close. Like they played that exactly right. And then Guardiola didn't really, I mean, he read it too late. So it was just hard because he's not, if it was Walker over there, Walker catches him just on a foot race. But,
maybe.
No, I'm just on a foot race to just get there. Because, I mean, Guardiola was close. He just couldn't get there. I mean, he played it excellently. And I
mean, the form Mape is on, I just said I didn't really rate him, but the way he's playing right now, I still, no matter who it was, he had a step and a half, 2 steps. I feel like he still gets there and gets a shot off.
I'm talking about just, I think Walker is in a better position to defend it because of just his speed. I think he gets that. He may still score, but I think if it was on the other side, I think that it would have been a different play as far as the challenge. But I mean, I give them credit. It was a great play. They looked clearly frustrated at that. And so from that point, the frustration kind of showed up in their play. And they were peppering the goal, man. Like the what was it? Flecken, is that his name? The keeper?
Yes, Mark Flecken is the keeper.
They were hitting them, man. They were just shooting at him, and they were like, "Hey, dude, we're gonna get you because of because of your Ederson assist, right?" And so I mean, De Bruyne played
25 shots.
Yeah, man.
15 on target.
They was coming. They were pissed. They were pissed there, right? And he did well. He did really well. The De Bruyne pass was stupid. But you got to give Foden credit for his proper flick on. I think Foden played that very well. I think that they noticed that they noticed that in all 3 of Foden's goals, he started in different spots. So one he was on the right, one he was on the left, and the other one he was central.
Well, the first goal was just Pinnock just gave him the ball.
Yeah,
like it's just a poor clearance. Like,
but Foden had to be there because Foden was playing on the right wing at the time. So
he had 3 guys there. You had 3 guys there though. If Foden isn't there, I don't know who it was, but you had 3 shirts.
Yeah, but Foden was standing directly in front of it. Like it dropped directly in front of him. I just think Foden didn't start there. I mean, so there's
the second one's the best for me.
Yeah, absolutely. But I just think, I mean, it's funny they talk about Foden and, Star Boy and all that stuff. And like, I think we've kind of passed the point of him being a budding star. Foden is Foden now. I mean, we got to stop talking about him like he's not the guy who he is. I mean, he's contributed. He's played every position across the front. And he doesn't, sort of complain. He understands that this is the team he's going to be in. He's not De Bruyne, but you can see he wants to have flashes to play like the guy. And so, it's sort of just trying to glean and learn as much as you possibly can.
Would you say that was your strongest lineup?
No, I don't think so.
Not even as your front, like your front 5?
The reason I say no is because, like, for example, I like Alvarez out wide. I mean, obviously in this they played a 4-1-4-1. In the formation, Alvarez had freedom to move around. And it was just kind of weird because I like Alvarez coming from the outside in, but then Bernardo was doing that. So Alvarez, like they just all intermixed. For example, I like to see Bernardo a little more central because I just think the way he plays, it works well because then De Bruyne ends up going like floating out to the wing. But I think like Kovacic plays really well with Rodri, but I think it depends on the competition. So I think this was the right lineup for today. and against another team, they'll play differently. But I mean, the result is the result. I'm not gonna hoot or anything like that. I think Foden played well, the team played well, and it's just the matter of catching form at the right time and making sure everybody's kind of healthy. Like Holland is clearly still off of it a little bit. I mean, he got his assist in the end, but I mean, he's contributing to the goals, and I think that for him, it's just about winning. And he's shown that because, I mean, obviously he may not get the individual accolades across Europe. So he might as well just go ahead and try to win the team things as much as he can. But I mean, it's
still leading the charts, man. Don't do that. He's still ahead.
Well, I mean, but I'm
still on top of and he's got like 6 assists or something, and he's still on top of the goal charts. Like, he's doing just fine with his numbers.
No, but I mean, I'm talking about like in terms of you can see he's a goal scorer and he wants to score. So he had some chances, like the breakaway he had.
Should have scored.
And informed Holland scores that.
Should have scored.
He rushed that. You could see he rushed that shot because he's like sort of like trying to get a goal. So when he passed to Foden, you could see at that point he was like, "Hey man, we just need to score goals." And I like that about him. Now, I mean, obviously there's an ego associated with being sort of the stature he is, but you hope there stays a humility where the team result is more important than individual accolades, and those come. But I think they played well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at the BBC stats here, and they only gave him a 6, which I think is harsh. I think Holland, I think is harsh. Apart from the breakaway, and one horribly misplaced whiff of a pass.
Yeah.
I think that other than that, I thought everything he was doing was right. Everything was definitely like those things that go unsung, and we always talk about some of the, the best forwards make you mark them the whole game. No matter if you could have 9 touches of the ball, but you've run the defense ragged trying to mark you. And when you're playing Man City and one guy runs you ragged trying to mark him all day long, you're going to get wrecked. You can't, because when they're all going to run you ragged, like, I agree that I don't think Bernardo Silva is, bad on the wings. I don't think that that's his strongest position, but I think it's more of a thing that, like, Alvarez popping up on the wing is better suited. Grealish is better suited to being on the wing. Doku is better suited to being on the wing. Not that Silva can't do it, because, as you know, I'm a massive Bernardo Silva fan. As big a Bernardo Silva fan as an Arsenal fan is allowed to be. And I think that you're right. I think his positions that he takes up in the center are very strong, and they link up the play really well. It's just the way you guys interchange and move is scary. It's scary because you never know who's going to pop up to connect with KDB.
They all fill the other positions so well.
Yeah,
they all cross position.
But at the end of the day, for 100 minutes, you have to be in their face. The third goal was just Brentford were tired, and they didn't want to press Rodri, for the millionth time in the game. Gave him 2 yards, and it's a boop, boop, goal. One pass into Holland, one touch to Foden. And it must be said, Foden's first touch in that instance was really what gave him the space to score the goal, because I thought Pinnock was going to get there. When Holland first touched the ball back and I saw that Foden wanted to go into that left channel, I was like, oh, he's never going to get there. What a touch that was, because this first touch was heavy enough to get the ball past Pinnock. And then he just slips by him into the space. That right there is an absolute hell of a forwards, poacher's kind of goal. And it's gross. Really gross.
That's why they're contenders. That's why they're contenders, man.
contenders, bro. They're the favorites. It's
They're
happening.
not. Liverpool is the favorites. I just want you to make sure you know. Bet in line is that Liverpool are the favorites
right now.
Are
That's
we
I read.
trying to like?
That's what I read.
Y'all are being doubted. Like,
Hey man, that's what I read. That's what I read.
Favorite.
That's what they said.
Y'all were the favorites.
Whoever gave you that line,
hey man,
is not thinking straight.
Look, man, I don't.
You should go back. You should go back and take whatever line they're giving you on City being champions right now. Because if they're giving you some good odds on City to win, yeah, I would take that. As much as I would love Arsenal to win this league and outdo you guys,
it's a decent enough line.
If I find a good line on City, I would take that bet. Yes, sure.
Hey, man,
that's easy money.
Favorites. That's what it says. And so
let's bet against that. Can we bet against that?
We don't look for chips at all. We don't look for any of those things.
Well, then let us bet against. Can we say that anyone but Liverpool will win and get those same? I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that's how it works.
Man, it still matters. You got to make sure everybody's healthy. This is a game where the health of your team, especially in the run-in, matters. So I can be happy now, and I accept the result. I appreciate Brentford coming because like City lost to them twice last year. And so, it matters to make sure, and Tony was there. So, that matters. And, you hope that, your team plays the best they can on the day.
Yeah. I just want to touch in just a nice little bow to wrap up the City segment / beginning of the show, Arsenal segment as well. Both of these games showed why I'm desperate to sign Ivan Toney.
He's good, man. He's legitimately good, man. I mean, we would never question him, but he's good.
Desperate.
He's such a smart striker, man.
I want this man at Arsenal so bad. Because if you look at what Kai Havertz did versus Liverpool, Ivan Toney can do all of it better than Kai Havertz did.
And he would score.
And he would score.
And he would have scored.
And he bags.
He would have put it to bed.
Yeah, because
I'm telling you.
I texted you early in the game, and I was like, oh, Kai. Like, if that was Tony, that's a goal, man.
I'm telling you. Sign this man. Do what it takes. Shell out the cash. The market's effed anyway. Doesn't matter. Do what you have to do. Because everything Tony did in a 3-1 loss is everything I would love him to do. Love to see at Arsenal. We don't need Osimhen. Osimhen is Jesus. It's the same profile. And don't even begin to tell me. I heard the same argument that Osimhen and Tony are very similar forwards. They're not.
I don't think so. No,
they're not at all. And if you think that Victor Osimhen holds up the ball better than Ivan Toney, you're ludicrous. You're out of your mind.
No,
and another thing about Victor Osimhen is that, okay, yes, he's led Napoli to a championship. Yes, he's led Napoli to to a semifinal in the Champions League. You know what he hasn't done? Played against Stoke on a Tuesday night. You know what he hasn't done? Gone to Wolverhampton, gone and played against Molineux, or gone and done it time in and time out in the Premier League. Sign me Ivan Toney right now. Get the agreement, get the spoken gentleman's agreement or whatever Mbappe's got with Real Madrid. Get it now. Get it done.
And I agree with that. But the funny thing is, Tony's also rumored for Chelsea too. I saw that.
Boo! Stay away. Stay away from my man.
But the point is, this sort of solidifies my point about Arsenal. Because Arsenal, Liverpool is supposed to be that historic whatever club, and no one's talking about these next level talents going to their club. But there's rumors that they still want to go to Chelsea and they still want to go to Arsenal. If Arsenal had Tony this year, I think Arsenal has probably at least four more points, right? And
look, we're scary already. When we come together, when everybody plays like we did, we're scary.
But this is why I think the Klopp thing matters. Is like he's looking at the sort of the horizon and is like, we're not going to be able to match that.
Put Tony in the mix, man. I'm just saying. Put Tony in. Even in the 3-1 loss today, he was impressive.
Yes, he was.
He worked hard. No, he's not burning nobody. He's not doing laps around Kyle Walker or whatever. He's not running in behind like Osman. Of course not. But he's done it, and he bags. Done it in the Premier League. Proven.
Well,
And you know he doesn't mind a pressure situation.
Are you really
Dropped by Southgate, goes into the Etihad and bags a brace and beats the best team on the planet. Man doesn't care about pressure. I'm telling you, bring this man to the club.
I'd put money on. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, my objection on the whole Osman Gabriel Jesus thing is Osman scores goals.
Yeah, no, but he said profile. The profile is the same.
But I also think that Jesus is. I mean, yeah, he may run between the lines, but he's not a threat to score. Osman, that will be the case whether he's at Chelsea or wherever he goes. I mean, I read something that Real Madrid may even be in for him. I'm like, where the hell are they going to play him? You know,
I'm just saying, Serie A is not the Premier League.
Oh, no, I agree completely. Look at Andre Onana, for example. But then look at Christian Pulisic and RLC and all the guys that have gone from Premier League to Serie A. They play well there. I mean, there's a reason for that. The style of play is totally different.
It's so much slower.
Chelsea people,
It's very much slower.
and so if you
That's why Gerrard is still doing what he does.
Well, hold on, because you just named all Chelsea people, and I mean, I hate to be that guy, but all Chelsea guys who get rejected by Chelsea kind of are good everywhere else they go.
They were this weekend, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hudson-Odoi with the equalizer for Forest.
We can go down the list. I mean,
Yeah.
if we really want to get into a
There was a number of former Chelsea goal scorers this weekend.
former Chelsea players that scored this week, or former Chelsea players that had an amazing game this week. We could have a whole segment on it.
Timo Werner wasn't too bad.
Like 30 players.
Timo Werner did all right.
He didn't score though, did he?
No.
Okay, well, he did Timo things.
Richie La got both goals for Spurs.
That's right.
But we'll get there as well.
I will be honest though, just to kind of wrap up on my side of things. I did not watch this game because let me back up. I didn't watch the Arsenal game. I did watch this game just because I wanted to see the lineup for City to see, okay, did what I say about, okay, this team's going to go 3 every week. Did that really kind of come to fruition? Of course it did today, but it was because Foden was out, playing quite well. It's going to be interesting to see as De Bruyne and everybody kind of starts gelling together again, what exactly we see, from City going forward. But I did want to make a quick. Where did he go? Oh, I did want to make a quick joke of sorts. One of the things that Klopp has been frustrated with was he couldn't get Bellingham.
Yep.
He couldn't get Caicedo.
Yep.
And he couldn't get Enzo.
Yep.
So, yes, we have lost the battle, no question. But if we were part of the reason why he got frustrated and left, then in the end, Chelsea wins the war.
But that's what I was saying, Patrick. It's like he can see on the horizon these next level guys don't want to go there because his team is on the sunset side, and he's trying to replace guys. And as he's trying to replace guys, these guys are saying no to him. And so if they're saying no, and I don't have the cachet of Liverpool, then why should I even stay here? It didn't make sense.
Liverpool was in on Lavia for like 3 months earlier than Chelsea was. As soon as Chelsea came calling.
But see, that's what I'm pointing. Because think about it. That's why I said like the Ivan Toney thing. Like if he sees if Ivan Toney goes to Arsenal, Liverpool don't have a chance against Arsenal. I'm being honest, right? Yeah. And if you had a competent manager with an actual system at Chelsea, the guys that you bought, your team would be a lot better because your buys would be better, and Liverpool wouldn't have a chance against Chelsea. If I'm reading the writing on the wall and I have Liverpool and I have the legacy, and that's not winning me games or getting me players, then I would leave too.
Yeah. You missed it, Jake. I said that we were mentioning Klopp and leaving, and because he couldn't get, he tried to get Bellingham. They couldn't.
Yep.
They tried to get Enzo. They couldn't. Tried to get Caicedo. Couldn't get him. And they tried to get Lavia and couldn't get him.
And I give Klopp credit for this. Because Liverpool and United are both like super history FC. And I respect their history. They are some of the most decorated teams in football. But in this modern game, that's not enough unless you're Real Madrid. Because Real Madrid, in being history FC, they're current history FC.
Yeah.
Like they still win today. And
they've got 70 years, but they're also current,
Right. And Real Madrid don't sit on the laurels. And this is why I give Perez a lot of credit, even though, he's obviously a snake oil salesman. No disrespect. I mean, snake oil salesmen sell good things sometimes, right? But hey, sometimes
well played. That was well handled.
Hey, man, but the thing is that they don't rest on the laurels of history. Barcelona is a history FC kind of team too. And those teams do that where they're like, hey, you want to come for our culture. And Real Madrid is like, you win here. That's what we do. We don't talk about history. We win here now. And so Liverpool, it's not the win now. It's you come here because of tradition. I'm not coming to you for tradition. I'm coming to win. That's it. I'm not coming. Modern footballers are not there for that because I can get paid anywhere. I can get paid anywhere. And so if I'm not guaranteed to win, and you're not going to pay me the highest wages because Liverpool is not one of those places that'll pay you the highest wages in the world. They'll pay you, but they're not going to pay you like over the top money. Right. They won't pay you over the top money. So if I'm going to be on a team that's not going to win or we don't know what they're going to do, I'm going to go for the money. And I'm going to live the lifestyle. And I'm going to live in a city like London so I can just do whatever I want to do. Why would I go to Liverpool?
Well, think about it. You had Raheem Sterling go from Liverpool to City.
Because you're a reject. No one learned their lesson, man. Don't get me started on Raheem Sterling. Do not get me started.
Oh, it's a good
we're about to get started. Oh yeah, segues are weird. Segues are weird. Man City are just causing all kinds of tears.
But when they work, they work.
And now Chelsea causing a different kind of tears for their own fans.
Bro.
X, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You can go first because I'm just going to sit on this for a second. Because if I go into this is a family-friendly show. It won't be. It won't be. If I go first.
If you go first, okay. So, where to begin?
Jose in.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't. The issues that I expressed Thursday were the same issues that I saw on Sunday. I thought the officiating was fine. There was no issues. Maybe one questionable thing, but it wasn't going to change the result by any means. But I think the thing that bothered me the most, not only the performance, but we go down 4-1, and he brings on 2 center backs. It's like, bro, this game's over. I don't care about defense at this point. Maybe you're looking at goal differential and it's like, hey, we got it. No, don't worry about that. But no, going back to it. So I saw the first goal. I thought it was – I will give Connor credit, even though I have my frustrations there. I thought it was a good layoff, good pass by Caicedo to Palmer. Good tidy finish. But what it allowed was Connor to think that he needed to be up front the whole time. And what it does is it isolates Caicedo all day long again. And that's exactly what the issue was against Liverpool. It was a carbon copy. I don't know if you've seen the still shot of when Caicedo gets the ball nicked off of him, but he's here. There's 4 guys around him, and nobody is like giving him an outlet to pass. So he's having to dribble around 4 guys, which he gets nicked off by 2. But there's 4 guys that have got him boxed in. Like you were talking about McAllister and boxing him in and whatnot. That's literally what Wolves did. They just put pressure on Caicedo. And he didn't have a good game. I mean, he had the assist, but that was about it. But we keep putting him in situations for failure. And that's where I get frustrated with management, is not the results. I do worry about the results. Don't get me wrong. But are you putting your players in a position to succeed? If you're not, either you need to fix your tactics or you need to find another place to be. It's not either or at this point. I'm sorry. We are now 2 years into this project, and I use that loosely because I think the project, if I understand it, is we're building towards consistent title contender by 2025, because they were seeing it as it was going to need to be a multi-year process to get back there. What? I see your face. Listen, Jake, I know. I think that was the original project. But as we continue to go down this road, it's just pushing it out another year and another year and another year. And so
those contracts might be up before. I'm
Maybe.
sorry. That was mean.
know.
That was mean. I apologize.
I think we'd have 5 more years at that point. We would be close, But no, so I watched this game and it killed me for the weekend. Absolutely killed me for I didn't watch Arsenal, and I wanted to, but I was like,
sacrilege.
I've been beaten down. And I really thought about what I was going to say, because I kind of got into an argument on Twitter the other night, because somebody's like, we don't need to sack the manager. This was before, of course, Sunday. Don't need to sack the manager, but if he keeps playing Conor Gallagher, he's lost me. And I'm like, that's the straw that breaks your
the captain. He gives him the armband. That's not a good expectation to have.
Do you mind if I interject just really quickly for both of you guys? So I'm just going to ask a direct question. Do you think this Chelsea team was better before playing the game, was a better team than Wolves?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think we were even.
Yeah, I don't think we were even. I
thought going into it we were even. I will say that. We were playing at home. I thought that we were even, and that we would, if we played better than we did against Liverpool, we'd have a chance. Obviously I was incorrect. Clearly.
I was worried from the get. I was worried.
I know. And I actually missed the first 10 minutes because
So did I.
Yeah. So I missed the first 10 minutes and I turned it on, and it was about 5 minutes or so after I finally saw the Chelsea goal. And then at that point it got scary, because it was like Gary O'Neill said, okay, all right, let's just pressure the hell out of them. We'll just do our thing. We're gonna press them as hard as we can and not them play through the midfield, because we couldn't play through the midfield. And, at that point, we'll be fine. We have to have a discussion. I know it's way early to do this, but we have to have a discussion about where we're going to play in Kunku.
Was he not a forward?
He played up top. He was nowhere to be found. Whether it's because they weren't getting the ball to him, whatever it was, he was nowhere to be found. he is too good, and I think we've seen it in even his mop-up duty. He is too good to go missing completely for 75 minutes or whatever it was he was on for. But he was like, at one point I was like, oh, I didn't even know he started.
He was missing for the same reason that Gravenberch and Gakpo were ghosts in the Liverpool Arsenal game. You couldn't get the ball past the second line.
No.
The only time you did, you scored.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, I feel like, yes, you do need to figure out where Nkunku is best, but also you have bigger problems.
Oh, no. Oh, dude, that's like problem like 12. I was just saying, everybody's want to see his quality and his play, and you mentioned it, I think it was against, I don't remember who we played against, and he went missing then.
He's only been played in the creative role one time. Give him another opportunity.
Well, no,
in the Gallagher position.
He hasn't been playing as a 10.
That's what I'm saying. Give him another shot there. We only saw it once, and I thought it was crap, but the whole team wasn't great that day.
Right. But even if he was playing as a 10, there's at least a chance for him to get the ball and do something with it.
That's what I'm saying. Let him do what Gallagher is doing.
Exactly. This whole Gallagher pushing up and being, again, there were opportunities where he's the guy taking the shot here.
Is it time to sit Enzo and let Gallagher do what Enzo's supposed to be doing and try someone else in the Gallagher spot? I get it. He's $100 million.
Well, it's not just that.
I get it, but
we have to change the formation.
That's why
the players we bought do not fit this formation.
Okay,
period. You want to talk about problems in the list of them? It's playing this formation. You have to sit Raheem Sterling. Off the rip, he does not make this starting lineup at all ever again. He does not wear a blue shirt. He is Romelu Lukaku. I do not care. He never
fire him
out in another Chelsea kit for the rest of his life. I do not care. He's done. He's gone. You sit Sterling. That opens up a whole nother formation for you to play. Ben Chilwell is not going to track back. If you want a left mid, then you play 4 in the middle. Conor Gallagher needs to be playing a center defensive role to let him run. He's the N'Golo Kante of the team. He has the engine for it. You let him run. You can let him create pressure, and you let him fall on the man who's creating their chances. Do not let Conor be the one with the ball on the outside of that box ever. Do not let him be the one where the ball falls to him on the PK spot to finish that ever. That's not his role.
No, that's Disassi.
Ever. That is the fox in the box, and Conor.
Fox in the box, baby.
And Conor is not that. That's probably number 2. I think Conor is highly misplayed, while functional still because he will run. Is highly misplayed.
Yeah.
Period.
I'm gonna can I just throw this in here real quick? I've looked at Pochettino, and we all admired what he did at Spurs, and we become history merchants of a little bit. Yeah, Jake, I got you, man. So we become history merchants a little bit because we're like, well, he overachieves. He saw Harry Kane and yada yada. He was working with no expectations, so it's easy to do that. The second he had expectations, which I'm gonna start, the sort of issues started with him when he went to the Champions League final, and his brain told him to say, I'm going to leave after this. Nothing good has come from him as a manager in decision making from that period. Because they lost that final. He went to PSG. He literally had the microcosm, because PSG is not Chelsea, but PSG had personalities that creates the sort of same environment that Chelsea has. And he struggled there. He was struggling to win with PSG, and they had a stacked team. He was fired from PSG because he couldn't succeed there. So to bring him to the Premier League, to think he can do the same thing that he did with Spurs at Chelsea is showing you that there's a disconnect in philosophy, because 1, they're being history merchants about what his capacity is, and 2, you missed what he did when he had to deal with big personalities. Because even though Chelsea's not a big personality team just because they don't have the names right now, you have the salaries that match those personalities, and that's enough. So he's not the manager for that. So Graham Potter was the bad call. If I'm being honest,
The first call.
if I'm being honest, I'm going to say something that may be a little controversial. Frank Lampard actually was a better choice if he would have been the first one, only because he would have been able to rein in the personalities. If you gave Frank Lampard was your first manager, and then you let him go, because tactically he's not that guy. But if you let him stay around the team and you brought in another guy, like, I don't know, there's a special guy that is so. But if you brought that guy in to follow Frank, I promise you the Chelsea team is perfectly fine. That's your answer. That's your answer right there.
Here's a question. Here's a question I heard, and it was very interesting, and it launched a very interesting discussion. Right now, today, if you had to choose Arteta or Poch.
Oh, Arteta, no question.
Fuck that, Patrick. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Talking about winning here, dude. I'm thinking of Pochettino as a manager.
No. If you wear that red,
That was awesome.
Cole, you do not come to this club.
That was awesome.
Or
I enjoyed that.
I'll take that. But no, you do not get to manage. No, that is red.
That's not the question I asked you.
No.
That was not the question.
Is Arteta a better manager than Pochettino?
Yes. Sorry, I thought you meant if I would
100%
take
yes.
Pochettino or Arteta at the bridge.
Well, we know that answer. You've given that answer vehemently.
Hold on.
Sorry.
So you're telling me, wait a minute. So you're telling me you wouldn't take Arteta at the bridge right now over what you have?
No, I would rather burn in hell with 1,000 whatever.
Well, you don't have to burn on that one because Arteta's
let's
way
back
better.
up.
No, we do not hide. No, you do not
We're
wear that red
managed
that
by
way
a
and come to this
Tottenham
club and try to manage.
manager.
No.
We're managed by a former Tottenham manager.
Like,
So
what
what's the
difference does
difference?
it make?
This is the history of the Tottenham.
Tottenham's not worth anything. I'm not worried about them. They don't win anything. They're not a rival.
And they gave you their manager.
We gave them ours twice.
Yeah,
It's only
we-
fair.
So,
only fair.
Jake, so let me add this. Would you take Ange over Pochettino?
Ooh, that's an awkward silence right there.
I mean,
Yes, you would.
I'll
You
say
would
this.
absolutely
I'll say
take
this.
Ange over Pochettino.
That is the most awkward silence I've ever heard.
Or do you want to have? Hey, man, I'm about winning.
Yes.
Seriously. I was looking at X
I
because I wanted to
every
see
day.
his opinion or see his response. Yes.
Ange.
I would take Ange over Poch. I would 100% as well.
There's not even a
All right,
pause on
100%.
that.
So
We're
this
down
game-
2-1.
So this game,
We're down 2-1. Right? We're down 2-1. The game's not back and forth, but it kind of settled a little bit. And what is the first decision that Pochettino does?
I can't remember which sub you made first.
It was
He
it was
took
like
off
Caicedo
Caicedo
for Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
for Jackson. 20 seconds later, they run right through the midfield and score.
Because where there was one person there getting swamped, then there was no one.
now there's no one. So it's just
Well, actually, they got scored on, and then he put Caicedo, Jackson on.
No.
Right. It was 2-1. It was 2-1.
No,
It was
look at that.
2-1. Right. It was
I'm looking
2-1.
at it. It says it's 3-1. It shows
Oh.
Cunha scores at the 63rd minute,
Right.
and then
Yep.
Caicedo comes on after.
No, Caicedo was off.
It shows because Caicedo got it shows it's 3-1 when Jackson comes on, according to this. Maybe I'm reading it wrong
no.
because I can't
Yeah,
remember.
Caicedo was off.
Let me look. I'll look. What are you looking at?
On FootMob, it does the timestamps, and it
timeline,
shows that this goal was before Caicedo went off. Now I could be wrong because I don't remember that part because I watched some of the game, but I
mean,
didn't.
they scored literally 20 seconds after he went off. Like, it made no sense.
But I understand what you're saying, though. I do understand.
Like, you take
No, he's right. Patrick's right. According to ESPN. Oh no.
No,
I'm
he
not right.
scored before,
I
right?
think it happened simultaneously.
Yeah,
but-
like he came off and like within 20 seconds.
No. He came on for the stoppage of the goal. Like the game was stopped because of the goal.
But he was already lined up to be a sub.
Right. He came on. He was already there getting subbed, about to be subbed when they
He was just
scored.
waiting for the next ball to stop. The next ball to stop happened to be a goal.
I'm pretty sure. Let me go back.
I thought he was off, and like 20 seconds later they scored.
Nope.
I think it was like that.
No, actually, I went and looked at the actual game cast. Patrick is 100% right. 63rd minute, Chelsea, Nicholas Jackson replaces Moises Caicedo. The very next entry is the third goal. And it's in the 63rd minute. Yeah.
Yeah, it's literally like 20 seconds later.
Literally right after Caicedo goes off.
Yeah, I'm looking,
according to ESPN.
well,
And you know how I feel about that, but
I'm looking at the video because it looks. Yeah, I don't see him.
well, just according to the game report where they do like a typed out whatever, the words
Like
for
play.
attempt blocked, attempt miss, attempt save, or whatever. It says the before the goal, the thing right before the goal is Caicedo going off. But yeah.
But
And then the very next thing, Nico Jackson caught offside.
I just don't understand where, and I say this, like, all jokes aside, everything aside, like, I understand it took Rome a long time to rebuild when it burned down, man. I just didn't think we were in this bad of shape when we got bought out. Man, we are. And
I mean,
you weren't right when you got bought out.
we lost our club. We lost our academy that could produce. We lost the boys who were going to set up our future by the FFP and locking us out of by locking us out of a transfer window and making Frank Lampard make those moves. The club then was in dire straits to balance our books through FFP again. So then we sell that academy. When Tuchel comes along, he gets one transfer window. He creates a team. He goes on. He wins the Champions League. And what happens? Everyone steps in, and now Chelsea needs to be sold. We remain successful under Roman. No matter what you threw at Roman, there was a way around it, and there was a way through this club because we had a backbone. We had our academy. We had our kids that could already play at this level. We had people who would come in and risk their entire managerial careers to come in and coach that at that time, knowing that the club needed them most in both instances. Like, what Frank has done for this club is bar none. I don't know what anyone else, name someone else who has sacrificed more for their club than Frank Lampard has for Chelsea. I will wait.
Lampard pretty much sacrificed his managerial
career. He fell on the dagger for us.
Because that tarnished his reputation horribly. So he definitely sacrificed his managerial career.
This is the way we repay him. This is now the DNA of our club. This is not Chelsea. He's
going to be the women's team manager. Y'all didn't see that?
I did see that. You sent that tweet. Yeah. So he's back in the fold, baby. He's back.
I'm fine with that. But John Terry's an assistant coach at the club as well. Like, I don't understand why there's not such an outroar for the people who are there to make this right. And this needs to be made right.
Well, in both of their cases, it's because of their poor record as managers.
Yeah.
I'm saying we need DNA. We have no identity. Pochettino is just not it. The young boys in the locker room are just not it. Our biggest leader in the locker room's wife is calling for the manager to be sacked. What in the world is going on?
That was crazy. That was crazy.
I saw that, and I'm like, oh, we got
that is the state that Chelsea is in right now. The leader in our locker room is divided against the manager. And you know why? Because Thiago Silva is proper Chelsea. He is from the old guard. You will not take it from him. He won what he won here. He is the leader in the locker room. Might as well make him manager and just promote him out of the playing.
Hey, I agree with that. It's time to hang up the boots, bro.
I'm fine with that.
No. Grab that whistle, because it's time.
At least he can do it. At least he understands the DNA that is this club. He came to us because he respected us. Think of Thiago Silva. Just think of the legend that man is. And in the point of his career, we threw him a bone. He came to us and gave us everything he had to win that trophy. And the biggest mistake, and I will die on this hill, Boyle has a lot of ground to make up because the worst mistake he ever made was the first one he ever made at this club.
You do not let a manager go like Thomas Tuchel and hire a clown like Graham Potter to replace him. This is what you get. You get clown after clown after clown.
What was
after
the stat
clown.
y'all told me before we started?
Potter
He's 1
is
point behind.
better.
Potter is 1 point behind in the same amount
he's
of games.
1 point better. No.
Potter was 1 point better.
Yeah.
1
Yes.
point better. Yes.
Yeah.
Same amount of games, same week. We're in the same position. $1 billion spent, and this is where you put us. Bring our manager back. Bring
You
it
need to
back.
get some duct tape for that pin. That pin, you need to get some duct tape and alter it and say Poch stinks.
You know who doesn't lose finals and lose cup games? Mao. Bring him in right now.
Well, I got a question then.
Bring
So
us
my
to
question
Wembley,
is,
and at least we can
when is-
salvage this season.
When is your cup? When is the final? It's this month, right?
February 25th.
25th or 26th.
So if Pochettino is,
It's like 3 games out.
I laughed, and I don't know why I laughed, which means there's clearly a subliminal thing in there. If Pochettino is able to win this cup game over Liverpool, what does that do for you?
I do not care. You do not
I think
put
he
us
gets
in
into
it.
the
No,
summer.
because
I'll say
Mao,
that.
I held Mao to the same standard. I held Mao
He'll
to the same
survive.
standard. Go back to the teens. I held Mao to the same standard. You do not let this team come in 10th and act like you get to keep your job.
Hey, it's like a $100,000 check.
Period. You do not get
If you
to come in
win.
10th and act like you keep your job at this club. I do not care what we win. Champions League's awesome. I love it. You cannot pair that with, oh, we came in 10th in the league.
You know, wait. Because did you? And I'm not calling you out, but you guys won the Champions League and finished what, like 8th or something?
5th. It was like
It
6th
was outside
place.
of Champions League.
It was outside.
7th place or something like that.
Mid-table mafia, yes.
And,
Oh, they fired the guy, though. They fired him.
You fired him as well.
That was Di Matteo. They fired him.
Yeah. Gone. Thanks, bud.
Well,
Got us our
hold on,
first
hold on,
one.
hold
Love
on,
you
hold on.
forever. Bye.
So we fired Di Matteo because we got knocked out of the Champions League after winning the previous year and went to Europa.
and then one.
Di Matteo came in for Villa-Boas.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember who replaced. Was it Goose Hindick?
Yeah, it was Gus. Yep.
Yeah. So
Y'all had
I
some.
mean-
Y'all had so many managers, dude. Yeah, how do you keep up? How do you even keep? I can't even. I didn't even remember that Gus Hiddink was your manager. But if you say so,
like 3 or 4 times.
he was the
Like,
Chelsea manager.
Yeah, he's been the manager for like 3 or 4 times. I want to make sure that's right. I know AVB was replaced.
Just disgusting. I'm so disgusted at where we're at as a club.
So let's
It's
see. Hold on. I can tell you. Give me a second. All right. So
It's fine if you can. I'm okay with firing
Okay.
the managers when you have a backbone that still keeps the DNA of the club. We can't keep doing this. We have no back. We have no one in that locker room that knows what it's like to be a
It's
Chelsea
wonderful.
player. And we have no manager
Okay.
to manage what it's like to be a Chelsea manager. At least
Okay.
we had the boys to go through 15 managers. We don't have that now. And we're up the creek.
okay. So it was okay. So it went Carlo Ancelotti to AVB, Andre Villas-Boas, to Robert Di Matteo, to Rafa Benitez,
Rafa.
fat Spanish waiter, to Jose Mourinho, and then Jose got sacked 2.5 years in. Steve Holland to Goose Hindick. So I was wrong about
Steve
who replaced him.
Holland.
I don't
Steve
remember that
Holland.
one.
2 matches.
That wasn't a real manager.
That's not real.
No, it's not real.
Because then Goose came in, and then it was Gus, I can't remember. Then Conte, Lampard, Tuchel, Potter, Bruno Salter. He was just 1 match. Frank Lampard and Pochettino.
It's disgusting.
But I mean,
Wow.
your issue is always it's always the issue is right now is stemming from the fact that you don't have any consistency in your front office. There's no actual football management program in there because you were able to make all those changes in managers because there was somebody, the sporting director and the people who were controlling those things were there. So I mean, it doesn't matter. You could, I'm going to say this in sort of tongue in cheek. but you could get Arteta or Pep. If your sporting manager is the same guy, you're not going to do anything different.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I disagree. If you get someone like the agreement was when Mao came in the first stint, Mao was entrusted with the books. Mao was entrusted with who do you want? I will buy it. Mao was brought to the table and asked, what do you need to make this club successful? Name me 6 guys. They're yours. I do not care. Name me 6 guys in the transfer window. They're yours. No one has had that ability to do so since.
But I think that your board is an issue because, for example, like one of my buddies is a Chelsea fan, and 2 of them actually, and their issue has always been at some point the board took more power, and when the board took more power is when you stopped performing. And your managers were basically keeping you.
It's when they kicked Roman out of England.
No, this was before Roman, though. This was before Roman was still the owner of the team.
Right. They kicked him out of England.
I'm saying they barred him from being. He could never even
be in the country.
He couldn't even come to the office anymore.
That's right.
Yeah, they said don't come. You're not allowed in England, bro. Don't even show up at your club anymore. He used to hang out in the locker room with Didier Drogba and Frank Lampard. John Terry was their friend. Like they had my guy on. They had the owner on speed dial.
I mean,
I don't know. That would be a little intimidating.
Story, right?
That would be a little intimidating, you know. Like this guy's had people disappeared before. Like
those are allegations.
The story always was if they lost, right, and they had like a string of losses or whatnot.
Roman's
if they saw a helicopter coming over Cobham, they knew that there was a change being made.
If they saw the helicopter land at Cobham, they were losing their manager.
Jeez. Man.
So if we're thinking like that, and I'm being honest, Chelsea's culture was, I mean, if you're looking at it that way as an outsider, Chelsea's culture was never, it was player centric. It was the owner always showed the players he was always going to give them the best. And so,
right. Well, I mean, it was player centric in terms of the players have more control than the manager.
No, because it was the Rashford syndrome. It's all I have to do is outweigh you if I don't like you. That's it. I'm still going to be here.
But you said it. You said it earlier, though, X. You said it earlier, though, X. That was fine. Because you had Terry and Lampard, and then in later years, guys like Conte.
Pride, who knew what it was to instill.
Well, it was like it's like that meme. It's like that meme of Carlo Ancelotti with Paolo Maldini when he was the AC Milan manager way back when Maldini and Nesta were still playing. He's like, "You think I told them what to do? You think I had to tell them how to defend? I didn't tell them anything. I didn't tell them. They went out there and they bossed everybody because they were bad, MFers. You know what I'm saying?
Them on the field, done.
That is not the case.
As far as the game plan went
anymore. Like that's hardly even the case in the game itself these days. It's such a team tactically based game that we've talked about how superstars are kind of fading from the game, and you can no longer build a team of dudes that you don't have to set up in any way. Yeah. The Ronaldinhos, of the world, where you're just like, you know what? You guys are crazy awesome. Go win.
Well, if
that doesn't work anymore.
It may be Jude Bellingham at Real Madrid right now.
Yeah, he just played.
But even then, Real Madrid are still not the Galacticos that they were. They might be the Galactico. They might be 2 or 3, but it's not the Beckham, Roberto Carlos, Zinedine Zidane, Guti, Ronaldo. It's not that team.
No, that's not.
That team run roughshod over whoever you put in front of them, and it didn't matter what the coach told them.
Right.
Well, now, what are you going to do? How are you going to coach Zidane?
Come on, these guys. These are the greatest, some of the greatest ever, and you're going to tell them what? No.
Hey, bro, let me show you how to dribble.
I mean, sometimes pressures you really hard from your back. What I want you to do is flip the ball.
Maybe you should try a spin move, and Zidane's like,
"Yeah, bro, I got it."
No, I'll just go right through him. What are you talking about, man?
I got it.
But going back to the game, just to kind of wrap. on my side, I'm sure X wants to say things too. You know, the tactics were terrible. The lineup was terrible. You know, I don't like.
Chile had a shocker.
Huh?
Chile had a shocker.
Chile had a shocker. That's 2 in a row, though. He was not good against Liverpool.
Is he still carrying a knock?
No,
Is he not fit?
My man's me. I love Ben Chilwell. I love Ben. Quit playing. I'm not playing left back, bro. I'm not coming back on defense. He's not going to do it.
Got burned so many times.
He's not a defender because you can tell him. Me and Jake we talked about this even mid-game and when we watched the replays of the goal. A defender presses that man with the ball and makes the decision, or he fully commits to the man who doesn't have the ball, or there's 3 options there, or you run with the runner who gave the 1-2. As a defender, that's the basics.
Chile did none of those.
Chile did none of those. He does what every offender does, or what every midfielder does, is like, okay, I'm going to make sure the man with the ball makes the move, and then that's how he doesn't have the ball anymore. I'm done. My job done. Good job.
Yeah, he doesn't have a defensive mindset, and that's why we get beat on back post.
Defensive mindset. He's not a left back, bro. He's a left midfielder. Tuchel played him as a left mid. He did not require Ben Chilwell to play defense at all. Period.
So yes, we want Jose in. We want Poch out. I get it, but like Patrick said, probably not happening until summer at the very least, unless something absolutely ridiculous happens. But you still got to play Wednesday, no less, at Aston Villa. Should have beat them in the home leg. Should have beat them in the home leg.
Our last shot at Europe, and I hope you're happy, bud. I hope
this is bad news.
Our last shot at Europe this season, and I hope you're happy because when we walk out of Villa losing this game by 2 goals because no one marks the back post and we get countered on and we get no man's land and we leave so much space on the wings where they're going to absolutely kill us.
Villa just smashed Sheffield too.
Yeah, they did it in 20 minutes. It was quite impressive.
It was 4-0 in the 29th minute.
Yeah,
weekend, man.
Well, I do want to say this, and when I do go back and watch games, because sometimes I'm just like, you know what, I'm just going to take a few minutes. I'll watch the highlights, or I'll go back and watch the condensed games or whatnot. The one thing that drives me crazy about our tactics right now is nobody understands where they're supposed to be. Like, nobody does. So what it does is it clogs the box. It clogs, right outside the box. There's no space whatsoever. I'm watching Luton, and Adebayo he's free. He's got one guy to beat. He's got plenty of space to take a shot. You saw Foden today. He makes a run. He made a run so that he had all the time in the world to hit a header. But I mean, my point being, you saw the Arsenal goals. They were with space open. One being the gaff by Van Disney and Becker, but or Allison. But the one by Saka, he still had room. He still had room to score.
We ripped him apart on that one.
Oh, I know you did. But that's the thing. Like, people, okay, Nicholas Jackson comes in, he misses a header. All right,
like immediately. Yeah,
it was about 10 minutes in.
Was it?
But before he comes on, Raheem Sterling actually has space to take a shot, and he plays it wide.
Raheem Sterling.
I even think I said,
"Son of a."
Yeah, it did.
You did. Yeah.
That man.
My point being, though, is
another game in a Chelsea jersey. I'm telling you, every time I see him on the lineup or on the sub sheet, I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. The manager that keeps him on this team, I'm done.
I mean, as much as Mudryk gets, he doesn't finish. He doesn't. At least the man tracks back. At least he attempts to play defense.
And he presses.
Raheem Sterling does not press.
You know how to beat Chelsea? Yeah, you know how to beat Chelsea. You hit even if they press you high, the key corners in your keeper's face, and Nkunku's pressing the other guy, and Palmer's doing what he's supposed to do, marking the center back. Guess what? All you gotta do is hit it to Sterling's side.
Yeah,
That's
his
how I
And
know.
you're out. And then boom.
The
then guess what?
Chilwell Sterling combo.
What? Both of them are so far forward. Now you got an open wing and just
then you got
bang it down
Colwell
our
out
face.
there.
Guess
He's
what we
just-
don't do anyway, regardless of what side it's on. We never mark a back post.
It ended up being Silva 1v1 with Neto and Cunha constantly.
cooked.
Yeah.
Cooked. That's
And
like
you
me
watch-
racing.
and
That's
you
like me
watch that
racing my grandma in her electric scooter. On
And it'll
foot.
be Diaby or Watkins
Or Bailey.
or Bailey on Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. And you watch the game and you see that over and over again, and it's like,
They
how
all
can
beat
you
us
not
the
see
same
this
way.
and fix it?
They all
How can
beat
you not
us
see it
the
and
same
fix
way.
it?
It's the same issue. They all beat us the exact same. Everyone scores their
Every
goals on us
single
the
time.
exact same way. It's disgusting. I'd
You
rather
would
these
think he'd
games.
learn.
I'd rather us park the bus, play 11 men, and tie every game 0-0. Just ride out the rest of the season than embarrass ourselves like this, bro. It's embarrassing at this point.
I feel like that's what time it is. Honestly, I feel like let's traditional, straight up,
Shut it down.
4-4-2. Everybody picks a man. You stay with that guy, like some straight up meat and potatoes stuff. I think that's what time it is.
Well, that's why they were going to go to 3 in the back, which that in itself pisses me off. But that's for another
We
day.
can't do that anymore because we don't have. You know what the problem is? We can't
That's what you
that
do
because
already.
We can't do it anymore. We can't play this Tuchel. The same structure Tuchel had on this team is the same skeleton tactic that we're trying to employ. It doesn't work when you don't have N'Golo Kante, but it definitely doesn't work. And here you go. We talked about this, Jake. It doesn't work when you don't have Antonio Rudiger or a Van der Ven center back that can track. Does not matter what forward runs down that field. They're fast enough to catch him and body them off because they are a little bit bigger. That's you cannot play.
You
this
don't have
game.
one. Disassi, maybe?
No, not even, bro.
You don't have a fast center back.
Well, the only one would be Fofana if he ever comes back.
If he ever comes back healthy.
I'm just saying, in general, that's what he was bought
That's
for.
what he was bought for.
He was exactly bought for that
He's
reason.
supposed to replace Antonio Rudiger, and this is the hole that left our defense. And then again, this is why I don't dislike Badiashile, but this is the issues I have with where the club. This is the boilie shore, bro. Ever since he's come in, it's wrong decision after wrong decision after wrong decision. Badiashile isn't the fix for Fofana's injury. That was the very next.
He's not even on that side.
That's the very next defender we bought. Fofana goes out for a season-long injury, and Badiashile is what you bring in. Like, yeah, he's a defender that works. It's not Football Manager. You just can't slide the next guy over and hope he plays the same position or just train him in 6 weeks and using your little buy-up power-ups and then, oh, yeah, hey, man, it just costs a little bit of money and he'll be playing left back. Or you can't just give him a golden star and then have him play a different position, bro. This is not the same game that's on your cell phone. Todd Boehly needs to absolutely lose the reins, hire the right people, and just let this club exist.
Well,
Or we'll be mid-table.
I
We'll be
think
mid-table for the rest
sporting
of the
directors need to change.
Gone.
There's a disconnect there. I think we have some people in place that know what they're doing for sure. But Paul Winstanley, he's got to go. He's got to go. Like
Shambles, man.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and this is the last thing I'll say. I think with the whole Badiashile thing, I think the idea is let's get Badiashile, let him learn under Thiago so that he can slot over once Colwell comes back, because they were wanting to bring Colwell back last January from loan when Fofana went down, because they're like, okay, well, it'll be a smooth transition. We'll just move, we'll have Badiashile learning under Thiago, and they couldn't get him back from Brighton. Brighton wouldn't, terminate the loan. And so we bought Badiashile to learn from Thiago, but Thiago he's past it, man. He really is. And I applaud him for all of his effort. And he gets left out to dry just as much as Caicedo does. And it's frustrating because the man's got tons of quality. Even when we're down 4-1, he's blocking shots. He's chasing down balls.
Because he has a sense of pride about the way he plays the game, and that's what's That's my problem with the game today, bro. That is ultimately where this is all heading. All of these boys work so hard, or they get into these academies so young, they lose their pride about what it is to play this game at that level and to not get scored on. Because I'm sorry, Cristiano Ronaldo and Thiago Silva had a way different academy or an upbringing in childhood than a lot of these boys who get picked up at 12 and 13. Like, there is no sense of pride of playing the game at this level from a lot of our stars these days.
I agree.
They do not play with that type of passion, man. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's losing. and our club's to hit it. Our club
They're
is
entitled.
I mean, our club is going to see that firsthand because we are nothing but this new generation of players. That's the only thing here is the new generation of players.
Well, I don't want to sound like
what irks me the most about our club, man.
an old fogey, but they're entitled because they're getting into the best academies. You know, they're not playing, you know, games at a pickup park. They're part of an academy that is
Taking Coke. Didier Drogba played soccer or football with coconuts.
With
on
a coconut.
The beach.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you know, I think it's definitely time to, you know, park that bus, but I'm not sure if Pochettino's going to do that.
No.
And as much as I love the Chelsea Tears, and I could let you guys go on forever, I think we'll go ahead and cut it there and maybe dry them up a little bit. We'll move on to some of the other results in the weekends. There were some pretty awesome ones, some not so awesome ones. I do want to mention the history of the Tottenham. Bottle it in the 90th, 2-2.
It's always beautiful.
I love to see that.
It kind of warms your cold heart right now.
It's the only thing that made this.
Richarlison with 2 goals.
Yeah. Didn't celebrate, which I applaud him for.
He didn't celebrate. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really bother me. Okay, you know what? That's a lie. I can't say that. Emmanuel Adebayor comes to mind, and I want to
down to the other side of the pitch.
Right
and I would still love to punch him in the throat.
right in front of the fans.
You know, so yes, okay. You know what? I'm going to take that statement. Yes, props for not celebrating because it incites people into rage when you do things like that. So, yeah, and then of course we all know Adebayor got just the most wholesome chant when he was getting stretchered off. I don't know if you guys remember that one.
I've seen it.
Something about elephants and moms.
Yeah. That was when he was playing for old man City.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Slip of the tongue.
You deserve him. You guys deserved him, Lewis. We'll just put it that way. That's how I feel about that. But yeah, it doesn't celebrate. And in the end, Vicario, man, yet another soft, just gets run over. And of course, it's a foul. It's a foul. No,
that's not a foul. It's not
nope. You just, yeah. I mean, I heard a lot of talk about in the YouTube sphere about maybe that's the strategy. Just crowd the box around Vicario, dump it in there, and he's gonna gaff it, and they're gonna give up.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna give up goals in the end.
Don't try to score them in open play because the dude tries to play like Neuer. But if you get him in the box, you got a chance. Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, like I say, I definitely enjoyed that result.
Dude,
I think it was a fair result. I actually watched that. I did watch this one. It was on Saturday morning. I definitely think it's a fair result. But again, like you say, Lewis, it's sour, but they're good. They're good, man. Tottenham are good this season. They look better than they've been in a while. And yeah, this here says Everton rescued a point. I think that's accurate. They were decent. They weren't awful, but they were not the better team, and I think they definitely rescued a point. But I'm happy. I'm happy about that. You know, couldn't be happy, you know. And speaking of rescuing points, Burnley at the death as well. 91st minute equalizer after being down 2-0 since the 21st minute. Isn't this guy another Chelsea?
He is.
David Datro Fofana is another Chelsea Academy product.
He's not
Not
an
an
academy
academy.
product. No.
Oh, he's not.
We purchased
It's just a
him.
reject. It's the Island Misfit toys.
He's just a reject out here getting the 90th minute equalizers
Yeah, I
Absolutely
think
banging
he
for
purchased
Burnley.
him last summer.
You know,
Summer before last.
Yep. Well, there you go.
not good. You're not good enough for us. Go play for someone poor. And then bang.
I mean, it's a massive result for Burnley.
massive,
Yes.
massive.
I mean, again, it feels like against Fulham as a team, when you look at it on the team sheet, that they got to be like, you know what, we got to, at home, to stay up, they might be one of the teams that you have to kind of to handle at home. And I know I keep saying it, Lewis, but I'm sorry, man. I don't see it happening.
No, they're gone.
I don't know if Vinny's going to survive the season. But if he's not going to, they need to do that now. They need to get Sam Allardyce in right now.
Well, but you know what? My premise on him when we talked about him before was I said it depends on what they do in the January window, and they didn't do anything. So I mean, if you saw what was there, you knew where you were lacking, and you didn't fix it. I mean, if I'm the manager, it's showing either you're not going to put out the money to support the team, or you're not
To keep us
supporting me.
up. Yeah.
So what is he supposed to do?
Yeah, fair enough. I hear you. Yeah, 2-2 draw. Good result for Burnley. Probably drop points for Fulham. They're at least going to feel that way, especially at the end like that. But Brighton smash Palace.
Did not see that.
No Eze, no Elise.
Well, Lisa came on and then he left like 9 minutes later.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. What a disaster.
Like he came on and went right.
What
back.
a disaster. I'm not sure old Hodgson's going to last either. I'm not sure he wants to at this point, you know?
Yeah.
He's probably thinking, like, why have y'all not? What's going on here? Why have y'all not sacked me yet?
No, man,
This
Potter's
is getting
Potter's got that job.
Potter swooping in for the Palace job. He was at the game. He was there.
Potter's in for that game.
Well, maybe he still has a house in Brighton. On that, you know, maybe I don't know.
Sure.
No, he was there.
No, well, yeah, it was the Brighton Stadium. He was the manager for years. That's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about.
He might have a house in Brighton, which might explain why he was there.
No, but I'm talking about him for Palace.
Right. You're saying he was at the stadium.
No, but
I'm giving you a reason why he might have already been in town.
But that's not what I'm saying, because you could say he was at any.
You're saying he's going to be there because he's going to coach Palace next.
That's well. So has he been at all the Brighton games that are home?
No.
No.
This guy
He just got back from a $60 million vacation Chelsea paid him because Todd Boehly is a clown. You're welcome.
Well, the vacation's not over. He's still getting paid.
Yeah, he's still getting paid.
Did he not get cut that check yet?
No,
Or did you amortize that for 8 years like all the other
I'm
contracts?
cool with it being 8 years.
he's
Let's go.
paid out. No, you have to pay them
Yeah,
out.
I think we have to pay him out within a year.
You have to cut that check to get him out of his job, I thought. Which is why y'all aren't getting rid of Poch, because FFP keeps you from cutting the check.
See, I don't buy that because he has a short contract.
That's hysterical.
Well, it's a big one. It's not like it's a poor man contract.
Yeah, it's like another $50 million. It's something stupid.
No. It would cost us like 10 or 12 to get him out.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It's nothing to get him
I
out.
thought it
He has,
was a
like,
lot.
performance release clause or something, bro. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it only.
Well, he's not hit that. He's certainly not hit that. But yeah, big win for Brighton at home. Needed it. Palace are pathetic these days. That's for sure, though. And hey, they better watch out. They're like 6 points off the drop, 7 points above right now. And Luton Town,
The Barn
resurgent,
What a game!
killing the game right now. 8 goals in 2 matches. Go to St. James's Park.
Show him what's what.
Put it on them. 4 goals. They were up 4-2 at one point.
Yeah, Newcastle. I give Newcastle credit for coming back in this.
This game was fantastic.
Trippier played really well in the second half, where he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna just grab you by the scruff, and we're not losing to them."
Right. That's exactly what it was, too. What an incredible game. Ross Barkley.
Yeah, good game.
Ross Barkley reinventing himself. Another Chelsea player. Next to Sambi Lokonga. That's the midfield partnership.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sambi Lokonga was trash at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Being so mad about it.
So bad. Ugh.
He was on Vieira's level.
He's out. No, he's not as good as Vieira.
No, okay, even worse.
He's bad. He was bad.
Glad when he left.
But he's had some good performances. Another one who is sort of reinventing themselves at Luton. Dude, Ogbene had Dan Burn for breakfast.
Yeah.
Absolutely had him on toast, as they say.
But they took Burn off, and I think they brought on, was it Livermento?
Livermento.
And things kind of calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, because he could actually run with them a little bit.
Former Chelsea player as well.
Yeah, Dan Burn got burned a number of times. He got Dan burned, that's for sure. Yeah, what a game this was, man. Fantastic. Wonderful finish for the fourth goal for Adebayo, who's definitely looking real hot. That's 4 in 2 games. But yeah, huge fight for Newcastle. Harvey Barnes. This is a crazy game. Harvey Barnes comes on 4 minutes later, gets the equalizer. Like, what a game this was, man. Proper Premier League game, dude. You know, somebody's like, oh, man, soccer's not all that. It's not fun to watch. Yeah, go watch that game. You're welcome. You're welcome, because that was some back and forth, pure entertainment. And I'm a believer, man. Luton Town to survive. They've changed my mind, dude. Luton Town to survive, bro. I mean, Everton's dropping down. Forest is playing bad. Palace are in free fall. And we know Burnley and Sheffield have already locked up 2 spots.
Yeah.
Like, Sheffield for sure has locked up a relegation spot.
Yeah, they got like 10 points. So far.
Burnley are hanging on. Burnley have 13 points, so they're hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
That leaves 1 spot, man. And Luton are currently not in it.
Yeah. No. Luton's playing good ball.
I'm just saying, man.
Going to the Kenny's not easy.
They've won like 5 in 8, 6 in 8, something like that. They're killing it, man. And
they could have beat us. We held off, but they almost beat us too.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely giving teams fits at the Kenny, and they got Sheffield. It's Sheffield next at home. Massive game at the Kenny.
Be the next
Sheffield, because Luton's going to win.
Probably.
Luton's going to beat Sheffield. Yeah, I agree 100%. Absolutely. That's especially since, segues are weird. Villa absolutely demoralize. Germany over Brazil status wrecked the Blades. 29th minute, there were tears in the stands. Demolished them. Ripped them apart.
I was reading on Twitter as I was going on, and it's like, how would it feel as a fan?
They went home.
That you pay,
They left at halftime.
You worked hard for the week to pay for tickets to go watch your team play, and it was so bad that you leave before halftime.
Yep. Oh, refunded is what they
Yo,
need.
75th minute?
Tottenham refunded their fans whenever that happened.
75th minute, dude? Empty.
Okay.
The place was
Refunds.
empty.
Refunds.
It was all the Villa fans, and then there was nobody.
Front row
Ghosts.
That's when you just move to the front row.
Like,
Seats.
you definitely feel bad. You're able to afford 1 game all season.
Yep.
And you show up and your team is just demolished.
Demolished.
Wrecked.
Now, can I just throw it in here? Like Sheffield have been bad all the games before this too. So I mean, while I didn't expect to get destroyed this way, I mean I couldn't have went in there and been like, yeah, we're about to do something to Villa. So I would have to be
I mean,
on
Villa been not playing well.
But
I hear that, but I hear that, but listen to this. Arsenal beat Sheffield at Sheffield 5-0. Wrecked them. But not in such a comprehensive way. Eddie Nketiah scored a hat trick that day, something that nobody saw coming. And we spaced our goals out. I think we scored 2 later on in the game. You know, this was 4-0 in the 29th minute.
They didn't even show up.
They were not there. That first half hour, they just got blamed immediately. There was no competition at any point ever. There was not ever at any point did it look like Sheffield were ever going to do anything at all. It was like if I was a Sheffield fan, I would be embarrassed and disgusted by that performance.
and I
Put this into perspective. Not even right at we'll say 6 weeks before they got a draw at Villa, and that was when Villa was going to go top of the league
At Villa.
Well, I mean, but if you look at Sheffield's past results, they lost the last home game they had. They lost 5-2.
Mm-hmm.
And then they drew with West Ham 2-2, and then they lost to Luton. They lost to Luton at home. I'm sorry,
Yeah, they did 3-2.
That's the next result. And so the last time they won at home was December 9th
against
Brentford. I don't know what they couldn't have been expecting anything. I hear you.
You can show up though. You can put in a performance for the shirt. These guys didn't even do that.
It was 4-0 before the 30th minute, dude. Like
it was 4-0 at 29 minutes. It was complete and utter Germany versus Brazil settings.
And they're bad, and they've been bad the whole time.
Well, of course they're bad, but I mean, you could at least put in
pride.
To make
pride,
it like
man. Have a little bit of pride, just a tiny bit.
I'm just talking about expectation from the fans, man. Like, I mean, I'm trying to get free tickets to this. I'm going there to watch Villa. That's what
I mean, consider
at that point, yeah.
Man City, and they lost by a goal. It's Man City.
But I'm talking about current form. I mean, I'm not going
right,
there.
I get that, but I mean, it's about playing at home. Like you should want to put on a performance for your fans.
And they got 5 put on them in the last home game. I understand what you're saying, but if my team is this bad where they have 10 points for the season, and I know we're getting relegated, I mean, yeah, I would hope that they would try. But I'm being honest. I'm there to watch the other. I'm gonna have my stuff on, but I'm there to watch what the other team does, man. and have hope that maybe we show up. But I mean, I just realism is looking at you in the face, man. I hear you guys, but if I choose to go to that, there's no way in hell I'm going in there expecting that we were gonna even compete.
I mean, yeah, I only know one Sheffield fan, man, and he's very pessimistic.
I get it. I get that.
Hey, we're just glad to be here. Like
for now,
we're just collecting our cash.
Yeah, hey man, just glad to be here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're getting compared to some of the worst teams that have ever been in the Premier League. That's not a good look.
As bad as Derby County.
They're only 1 point better at the moment.
Oof. Well, hey, 1 point better.
The only thing is Derby County finished with 10 points.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So they have 15 games to pick up 1 point, so they're not on par with the worst team that there's ever been.
Wow.
You know, But speaking of worst teams that there's ever been, Manchester United
Skip.
They
have beaten West Ham 3-0 at Old Trafford.
Skip button.
United fans going crazy. It's the greatest team that there's ever been with the greatest manager and the greatest winger. We have the greatest youngsters ever. Garnacho slowly and systematically doing every Ronaldo celebration he can think of. Kobe Mainu and Rasmus Højlund hop up next to him, and now we have to look at all these United fan channels doing comparisons because Ronaldo did that earlier on. Yes, it's wonderful. No, but for real,
I heard something about that Rasmus Højlund is on pace. This was from a United fan, is on pace to being the best young striker in the world. And I'm like, what? Huh? Excuse me?
Only
and Kobe Manu is Clarence Seedorf.
Yeah, exactly.
Only United have good young players.
Hang on,
No
hang
other
on,
teams
hang
that
on.
have good young players.
They spelled Holland wrong. They forgot to get the accent.
Yeah.
It says you're shopping at Aldi, my guy. You gotta actually go to Publix.
Yeah.
You know?
You have to actually go to the Harris Teeter to get the real one, you know what I'm saying?
Now, what y'all talking about? United have the best young players ever to breathe air. So you have to understand that this only makes sense. I mean, like, there's no other teams with young right backs or young attacking players in the Premier League anywhere that are doing anything close to this.
Yeah. But in all fairness, banter aside, United 3 wins on the bounce. They found something, as you say, currently. I guess West Ham did miss a ton of chances in this game. From what I saw, there was kind of back and forth, but United were way more clinical. And, things not necessarily turned all the way around for United, but they are up to 6th.
Must be nice.
Yeah. 3 wins on the bounces. 3-0, about as comprehensive as it gets. I'm hoping Arsenal can do the same to West Ham United.
2 shots.
Yeah, they missed a bunch, is what I saw. I did see that Lissandro Martinez, another 2 months.
Yep.
He's only been back for 2 games. The butcher got butchered. But here as many tears as I can muster. But yep, things looking good for the greatest team that's ever walked on the pitch. And that leaves us with Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest. Another Chelsea reject.
My boy.
Doing the business for Forest, getting the equalizer right on halftime. A lot of halftime goals this match week.
Really?
It was also the highest scoring match week for like 30 years or something like that.
It ended up being 30 goals?
45 total.
Oh,
wow.
45 goals
on Saturday, I think.
On Sunday alone, on Saturday alone there was 26 goals.
Yeah.
But total it was 45. Bournemouth they've been coming out real strong recently. Got the goal in the 5th, and it was kind of back and forth. But Philip Billing with the red card, awful challenge.
Awful.
Yeah, that one's gonna get a red card all day in this league.
He doesn't get fined by the refs or the.
I mean, he's definitely got 3-match ban. He's definitely got a 3-match ban. Essentially, he's just stepped on a guy deliberately after getting beat. From behind. It wasn't even like a tackle. He's stepped on his heel. It was bad news, Bears. I think fully deserving of the red. And wait, what? I didn't even realize, but according to ESPN, Gio Reyna made his debut in this game. Wow. Yeah, wow. I might have to go back and check these highlights to see what old Reyna did.
So Billing did it on Callum Hudson-Odoi?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I'm just looking kind of at the.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to go back and peep these highlights again to see if.
Came on in the 78th minute. Gio
Reyna, yeah, to see what I might go back and watch the last 10 minutes just to see Reyna's cameo. As much as I think that it's a sinking ship there at Forest, it's good to see Americans getting Premier League experience.
Yeah, can't fight that. Yeah.
You know, can't be mad at that. Even
Right.
even if it is Forest and their rotation, bonanza that they got going on over there. Just well, you didn't work out. Well, we'll put you in this week. Oh, you didn't work out. We'll put you in this week. Well, you didn't work. Next, absolutely. Yeah, they'll be a little probably let down, Bournemouth, for not getting the 3 points at home versus Forest, but that's kind of what Forest do. Tough to break down, tough to score against, hit you on the counter. Well, yeah, there you have it. It's definitely been a wonderful weekend. Like I say, for some, Chelsea got
not for
a big game. I mean, it's a big game on Wednesday. If you can win,
keeps us in Europe.
If you can win and move on in the cup, it's a bit of a bounce back, bit of a morale booster.
Yeah, because I mean, we'll play Plymouth, Argyle, or Leeds in the next round. So I mean,
there you go.
So I mean, you find a way to pull it off. That'll get you to what, the 6th round if you don't stumble.
And then it'll be Liverpool again in the quarterfinals.
Oh yeah, no, final. We'll meet him in the.
Another double final with Liverpool.
Oh God, no, not again.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we're certainly glad that you've been here. If you've made it this far, let's go ahead and smash up the likes on the video. Of course, if you are new, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for listening. Of course, thanks for being here. And if you're enjoying all the content, go ahead and get the notification bell on as well. I've certainly enjoyed it, and we will definitely see you next time.